Coach Hill, if you would, just open the statement on last week's game against Southern. Brief look ahead to Texas State. We'll open up for questions.
Great win on the road. It's been a challenging, beginning of the season. We've been on the road the last 3 weeks, but to be able to go in a Baton Rouge and a hostile environment like that, and our football team was locked in and ready to go. I thought we did a good job of, fixing some things we didn't do well the previous week. We still got a long ways to go, though. Our special teams has to continue to be better. And offense, we got to get better in the red zone. We got to continue to work on that. When we get down there, we got to find ways to get touchdowns. Defensively, I thought they did some things that I asked them to do this week. I've been harping on. They went out there and got turnovers. They got the ball for us. B.J. Washington got an interception. Jaheim Hazel did a great job picking the ball off. They flew around. I think we ended up with 6 or 7 sacks as far as our defensive line. So some guys stepped up, but overall, great win for the program. Looking forward to another big game this week at Texas State down in San Marcos.
Coach, what did you learn about your team, having to bounce back, and especially against a big opponent, a lot of big-time atmosphere down there, and they were able to handle that?
Just the grit. Like I told them after the game, we've been living out of suitcases for the last 2-3 weeks, but the grit of this football team is something they fight. They fight, they respond to what I tell them. We get in here, whether it's a win or a loss, we come in here, we see our mistakes, and they go out there and try to correct them. But very pleased with them, the way they approach football games. They love to work, they expect to win, and those are some things that we talked about at the beginning, and that's what we've been seeing here.
How did you think your offensive line played? Obviously, that was something we were all talking about last week on Tuesday. Did you think it was a big improvement, or was there still some things that you saw that?
Well, anytime you can rush for over 200 yards against a good Southern football team, that's a win for us. It kind of takes some of the pressure off of Jason, our quarterback. But very pleased with the offensive line. We had a young kid to step up and play left tackle, a true freshman, Quay Davis, that we've been seeing coming along, and it was his time this past weekend. He went out there and executed well. Sir Riley, it was good to get him back from injury. He was a guy that's been out for the last couple of weeks that we've been missing a very important piece to this football team, and we got him back. We got our size, though. If you look at those guys, Quay's 6'6", 6'7", about 330, 340. Sir's a big kid. We need that size, that beef up front, but very pleased with that group, how they control the line of scrimmage.
Coach, can you talk about how hard Irv Mulligan runs, and then Desmond Moultrie? I don't know where he's been all season, but he runs just as hard.
Yeah, Irv has been Irv. He's been solid week in, week out for us. The kid just plays the game the right way. He plays behind his pads. I always tell people about Irv. He just loves football. He's grateful for the opportunity of being here at Jackson State, and he shows us week in, week out. We always felt that we had a good stable of backs. Even with JD out right now, we'll get him back in the next couple weeks, hopefully. But Desmond, Moultrie, Zeke, all those guys can run the football. Miller, we got quite a few guys that can run the football that we're excited about. And like I say, with these injuries and stuff, it's always for us the next man up. We got to continue to go. But it was like the offensive line was clicking too. It was just all those guys together, running backs. Jason making the right reads when we need to give it in the RPO stuff, and the O-line playing well. So it was a great job by that entire group.
When you take on an FBS opponent, is there anything different you guys talk about?
You always got to, their depth. You're concerned about their depth. We got pretty good depth here ourselves for a football team, but you're concerned about their depth. But we got quite a few guys here came from FBS programs, so that's what I told them this morning. It's the next game up. We got to be ready to go. We're on the road there again. They're opening up their home stadium, so they'll be energized and ready to go. But we got some guys that I feel good about, going into this matching up with them. They're a big group up front on the offensive line. So this is going to be a big challenge for our defensive line. They got some speed at the receiver position, a quarterback that's huge, that's played in the SEC. But, just got to find ways not to beat yourself. Go out there and execute well and give yourself a chance.
Coach, go ahead.
Coach, how the guys handling being on the road for the 4th week in a row? Are they weary? Are they complaining about it?
Everybody's kind of tired. Everybody's tired. You get in late Saturday nights, early Sunday mornings, have to get back in here on Sunday, get back to work. But that's the thing about this football team. We persevere. yeah, you know, that's that's what the schedule says. We got to line up and play, you know, and we'll prepare that way each and every day. But it'll be good to be getting back in Jackson on next week.
Coach, I talked to your guy this morning, and he told me to ask you about your little nickname, Top Cat. Can you tell me about how you got
Who
that?
told you that?
Is it true?
Yeah, that's it. Something that goes back in high school as an athlete. You know, the PA announcer, I think it was Mr. Dillon, kind of came up with that deal. You know, when I was playing basketball, and it kind of stuck with me.
You got a tattoo, right?
Yeah, I do have it tatted.
So, can you tell me though?
How do you know this?
Go
ahead.
Dig, man.
I see.
Can you tell me though? He's number one in the state. The guy that told me about it, his team, and he said you guys played together. You mentored him, Chris.
Oh,
Can
Chris
you talk
Jones.
about that relationship a little bit?
Yeah, Chris Jones was a receiver here when I played. You know, a phenomenal athlete, played with the Vikings, had our opportunity to go to the next level. He was a year behind me, but a tremendous football coach. You see the things that he's doing at Starkville High School, developing those guys. He got some guys playing at a high level. We recruit that high school, so very proud of Coach Jones and what he's doing. And he was a great receiver here. You know, he really did a great job at Jackson State, a true blue guy that really has a lot of love for this program.
Coach, you've been finding something like every week, of course, as a head coach does. The offensive line played better, made a challenge to the defense to get takeaways. What's another challenge to your team as you guys face?
That's a great question. That is a great question because we hadn't played a complete game yet. You know, across the board, just a complete, clean football game. That's what I'm waiting to see what it looks like for us. And we talked about it, but just all three phases. We was decent the first game, but like I said, the first game we still missed a lot of tackles. There was some things we can clean up. So I'm really just waiting for this entire team to explode and just play a great all-around football game.
And do it. Coach, thank you.
All right. Thank you.